Coming up on Good Morning Longhorns, could we see an extension to the Texas legislative session? Why THC and bail reform could keep representatives at the Capitol.
And a crackdown on underage drinking may be on the way. How lawmakers want to make it harder for minors to purchase alcohol.
Westfest just wrapped up, but legal troubles stood between one artist and the stage. How student organizers quickly found a replacement.
And in sports, women's basketball is in it to win it. We're headed to the Final Four and breaking down the road to the national championship throughout the show.
And finally, with the heat rolling in and summer just around the corner, we've got top skin safety tips. All this and more coming up right here, right now on Good Morning Longhorns. And good morning, Longhorns, for this Wednesday, April 2nd. I'm Logan Dubel.
And I'm Paulina Pearson. Thanks for joining us this morning. How are you doing, Logan?
It is T-minus 4 shows. It is April. It feels crazy. I can't believe we're almost done. It feels like we just started. I was on here talking about like the Tribune Festival. It was my first time.
And I interviewed Logan for the first time. Oh my
and
gosh,
now we are near the end.
Only like 3 more weeks left of school or something like that.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
It doesn't
I don't
feel
like
real.
it.
All right, up first this morning on a serious note, 4 people were injured after a shooting in downtown Austin early Sunday morning. This incident is reported to have happened by the intersection of Brazos and 6th Streets at around 1 in the morning.
One victim was found in a pedicab while 3 others were inside of a 6th Street club. 2 victims received help and 2 others declined medical assistance on the scene. Police are continuing to investigate, and a suspect has not yet been arrested.
And back here on campus, yesterday marked the start of a new era in UT student government as election winners were sworn in. Among them were President-elect Hudson Thomas and Vice President-elect Thierry Chu. Winners of representative positions were also sworn in, and that was inside the Student Activity Center. Outside the WCP, though, the Coalition for Free and Fair Elections held a rally protesting the results. This comes after the Dean of Students overturned the UT Supreme Court's decision to disqualify the winning Executive Alliance.
Are calling for a reversal of this action, are calling for legitimacy within student government to be maintained, calling for the legitimacy of our elections and of our student voice to be maintained, something which has prospered on this campus since the start of student government in 1902.
The coalition delivered a letter to the Dean of Students calling for an independent investigation into the election, but the Dean of Students have not responded to that request. Well, summer might look a little bit different in the Texas Capitol. That's if Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick pushes for a special session.
He told the Texas Tribune he'll do just that if his THC ban and bail reform Bill 2 of his 40 priority bills don't pass before this legislative session ends in early June.
And our Gracie Kirshner is in studio this morning with more on where those bills are now and what that special session could look like. Good morning, Gracie.
Good morning, guys. So one important thing here is that the power to call a special session officially belongs to Governor Greg Abbott. But because he's in charge of the Senate, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick can control the agenda and block any of Abbott's bills from passing. He's done just that before in 2017. This time, though, he's focused on the roughly 8,300 Texas retailers selling hemp products with a less than 0.3% concentration of THC. And they're claiming that they're going beyond that threshold. Senate Bill 3, which would ban all forms of THC and only allow for CBD and CBG on market, has passed in the Senate and awaits a vote in the House. The issue here, this THC ban is not listed as one of Governor Abbott's priorities this session, meaning there's a chance it won't get through the House at all. Opponents to the ban say there's a middle ground, regulation instead of elimination.
I think we both have similar intent, and that's to clean up the industry. One side wants to eliminate it, our side wants to regulate it.
Patrick is also adamant on bail reform, specifically the 2 measures passed in the Senate last month that would amend the Texas Constitution to allow judges to deny bail to defendants accused of murder and other violent crimes. The other would restrict judges from offering bail to undocumented immigrants with a felony. The difference here is that this is also one of Abbott's priorities this session, so these measures are more likely to move forward. Stay tuned for more updates next week on GMLH. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, Gracie. Also in the ledge, State Senator Royce West recently introduced Senate Bill 650 that aims to make it harder for minors to obtain alcohol. It would require all alcohol-serving institutions to scan customers' driver's licenses through an electronic reader system.
If an establishment does not have the technology, the law would still require a physical inspection of the ID. Senator Charles Perry said he hopes a potential new law could halt what he called a common theme of minors getting injured or dying from drunk driving. After unanimously passing through the Senate, SB 650 will move to the House for consideration.
And around 100 protesters organized in front of the state capitol for the Trans Day of Visibility on Monday. Speeches and drag performances were held on the front steps. The protest comes after Texas state legislators put forward a bill last month that would criminalize transgender self-identification, making it a felony punishable by jail time.
I think it's easy for these politicians to pass these kind of horrible legislation and then to think they can just get away with it.
Liberation, protesters eventually marched through the streets before heading back to the Capitol steps and concluding that demonstration.
Happening today, Texas Hillel will host the annual Israel Block Party from 12 to 3 at Gregory Gymnasium. The organization says the event is the largest Israel event on a college campus in North America. This year, the event celebrates 25 years. A protest is being organized by the Palestine Solidarity Committee against the Block Party, and Texas Hillel says on its website that they are, quote, working with on and off campus security partners. TSTV News will be covering both the Block Party and the protest, and will update the story online as it develops. And a controversial conference with links to eugenics was held on campus this past weekend, drawing a protest from UT students. The Natal Conference took place at UT's AT&T Conference Center and the Bullock Texas State History Museum. It was hosted by a group that has promoted an increased birth rate and platformed various far-right speakers. The Students for a Democratic Society held a protest on Saturday, calling for UT to remove the conference from campus. UT has said its status as a public university requires it to lease campus spaces to groups regardless of their views.
And speaking of leases, Crest at Pearl, one of 6 West Campus apartments owned by American Campus Communities, forced out residents in corner apartments last month due to structural issues. UT Tenants Union posted an email sent last month to corner unit tenants that said urgent maintenance was cause for that relocation, but residents were moved to hotels and the Block, another apartment in West Campus. This comes after at least a year of code complaints about unsafe conditions in the building. Now, we went to their building in person for comment, and we were told to send an email, but we have yet to hear back. Residents are expected to be relocated for the rest of the semester, and we will continue to, of course, follow this story.
And rapper Sean Kingston canceled his highly awaited Westfest performance after he was found guilty of wire fraud last week. Kingston and his mother were charged for conducting an organized scheme against sellers of luxury items, saying they had paid for their purchases when they had not. Kingston was scheduled to perform at the Texas Interfraternity Council's annual philanthropic music festival just Saturday night. However, the judge told Kingston he would not be able to travel to Texas.
Our entire chapter started texting our exec, kind of asking, what's going to happen now, what's the plan? So there was a lot of uncertainty, but luckily our exec team, is a really good one, and they were able to kind of rally and rally the troops, get the entire chapter behind it, and they called upon a lot of people in the chapter to work together to kind of fix that issue.
Because of Kingston's conviction, Texas Beta and Bucks fraternities brought singer Mike Posner to West Campus to perform instead. And on Saturday, Campus Events and Entertainment invited Longhorns to the annual celebration 40 Acres Fest.
Attendees were treated to free food and a variety of carnival activities. And bringing us more on the festival's live music scene now is our Joseph Sweeney. Good morning, Joseph.
Thanks, Logan. You might have seen on social media that rappers Obel Reed and A$AP Ferg delivered Longhorns a free concert this Saturday. But before their headlining act, a number of Longhorns hit the stage. The sounds of live music, frozen drinks, and other carnival activities filled the air at UT's main mall for the annual celebration, 40 Acres Fest.
It really does feel like those movie scenes where the campus is all the students are out, it's a nice sunny day, everybody's enjoying the vibe.
Near the end of every spring semester, 40 Acres Fest treats Longhorns to a free concert by a major artist. But before the crowd was introduced to headliners A$AP Ferg and Obel Reed, a variety of other performers took the stage, and some of them were Longhorns.
My voice has been fighting me for a while, but the music brings the best out, so we had a great time.
Camille Stites, a genre-bending artist, took the stage with her band just before the night's headliners, closing out the day portion of the festival.
This is our third gig together, and I think that having our third gig at a place like this is just so incredible for visibility. We're really getting our name out there.
And while this festival marks a new beginning for Stites and her band, pop artist Brooke Michelle sees it as a nice way to close out her time on the 40 Acres.
It's a great way to end my college career since I do only have a month of school. Being a Longhorn, it's really sad, but this was a great experience, and it's what I'm going to remember forever.
Joseph Sweeney, TSTV News. For more about 40 Acres Fest and more on Camille and Brooke's musical careers, be sure to check out the web story on tstvnews.com. Back to you, Logan and Paulina.
Thank you, Joseph. There will soon be more options for entertainment around Austin. The construction of a new multi-million-dollar music and events venue is set to begin in Southeast Austin in the coming weeks. The project is led by AEG Presents. The project faced criticism that it would gentrify the area near East Riverside Drive. AEG has revised plans to also include residential offices and public gathering spaces. The venue will now be a multi-purpose facility with a capacity of 4,000 for various events. And Austin welcomed indie pop artist Morris, who opened for Maud Latour last Friday at Parish, a live music venue in Austin. The show was part of Maud Latour's The Sugar Water album tour. We spoke with some fans who gave us their thoughts on the performance.
Looking around and seeing the younger queer population connect to the music is incredibly touching.
Maud Latour also previously played at Parish for her last tour, and some returned to see her perform again last Friday.
Back here on campus, one professor is sharing her personal experience in the classroom. Sociologist Steph Osbacken opens up about battling cancer in her spring course that's called Cancerland. Teaching students about the social and cultural landscape of cancer, Osbacken provides a space that fosters discussions about this life-changing disease. Rather than being fearful, Osbacken guides students to embrace this hard subject with an open mind. This course is offering during the spring and requires upper division standing. After the break, our Gabriella Comer delivers your weekly weather report, plus a major earthquake hit Southeast Asia last week, what we know so far. We'll be right back. Welcome back. A 7.7 magnitude earthquake hit Southeast Asia on Friday. The epicenter of the quake was in central Myanmar, and the shocks were even felt in neighboring Thailand. Search and rescue efforts are still underway. The American Embassy announced the U.S. would provide $2 million in aid. The death toll is over 2,000 people, with over 4,000 more injured. Well, back here in Austin, we are still seeing lots of variability in our temperatures. It's so humid. I hate it.
Yeah, same. Well, for your full local forecast, joining us on set is our Gabriella Comer. Good morning, Gabby.
Thank you, Paulina, and good morning and happy April, Longhorns. You know what they say, April showers bring May flowers, so expect lots of clouds, scattered thunderstorms, and rain throughout the week. Today's high is 87 degrees and the low is 71 degrees with a slight chance of scattered thunderstorms throughout the morning. Expect more of the same tomorrow with a high of 88 degrees and a low of 72 degrees, with cloudy skies. On Friday, thunderstorms and rain are expected throughout the day, and they will continue into Saturday morning. Expect temperatures to drop by Saturday evening, bringing the temperature down to the 60s and 70s on Sunday and early next week. Although questionable weather is expected throughout the week, prepare for a nice reprieve going into next week as the sunshine will be back and temperatures will be in the 70s. If you are heading to the Zilker Park Kite Festival this Saturday, make sure to have an umbrella with you. Started in 1929, the event is the nation's longest running kite festival. It hosts a variety of activities for people of all ages, including concerts and a kite flying festival. The event is from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and is free. Parking is limited, so consider using a rideshare app or Cap Metro. That's all from the Weather Center. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Gabby. In sports, Texas men's swim and dive team won the NCAA championship on Saturday evening. It's the 16th NCAA title for the team. According to Texas Athletics, after the 4 days of the championship, the team came in first place, with California following in second and Indiana in third. This will be the 67th all-time national championship that the team has won, and in celebration of the victory this weekend, UT, of course, lit the tower burnt orange.
Now, Texas is not only dominating in the water. Texas men's golf is currently ranked #1 in the polls for the NCAA Division I. Scoreboard, a national college golf ranking system, updated their results last Wednesday, showcasing the team's average points per game being the highest in the division. The Longhorns will travel this weekend to Georgia, competing at the Haskins Award Invitational.
Talking about #1 rankings, Texas women's basketball is Final Four bound. The Longhorns punched their ticket to Tampa after defeating the TCU Horned Frogs on Monday, 58-47.
And to tell us more about their run to the national title, our Abby Sines joins us in the studio. Good morning, Abby.
Good morning. For the first time since 2003, the Longhorns are heading back to the women's Final Four. Texas has been dominant in the NCAA tournament, just recently taking down the #2 seed team TCU on Monday with a score of 58-47 in an Elite Eight game. Securing their 35th win of the season, the Longhorns have now tied the program's 1981-1982 team history of the most wins during an NCAA season. On the road to making history, Coach Schaefer expressed how proud he is of this team after the game.
When you're sitting there and the minutes are ticking off, the seconds are ticking off, and I have so much pride for my kids. Like, I'm so proud of them, how hard they played today.
Now, what comes next? Texas will now face the South Carolina Gamecocks this Friday at 6 p.m., making it their 4th matchup of the season. Facing the 2 losses against the Gamecocks, the Longhorns will now have the opportunity to even it out, send them packing, and seal their spot in the national championship. Back to you, Logan and Paulina.
Thanks, Abby. And when we come back, Tyler Strimple from TSTV Sports join us in studio to talk more about this historic run from Texas basketball. We'll be back in just 2 minutes.
Welcome back to Good Morning Longhorns. The Texas women's basketball team is still dancing in this year's NCAA women's basketball tournament.
Here with us from TSTV Sports is Tyler Strimple to tell us all about it. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great on this Wednesday morning. Happy to talk about Texas women's basketball, arguably the most exciting thing happening on campus this week.
Absolutely. So it's been a huge week for the Longhorns. Just tell us a little bit more about how we got here in this historic run.
Yeah, well, obviously a couple weekends ago it started in the rounds of 64 and 32 against William and Mary and Illinois, the 16 and the 8 seed respectively. We've heard all about that, so let's go back to last weekend, starting with the Sweet 16 on, which camera is this? This camera right here. Starting with the Sweet 16 against the Kim Caldwell-led Tennessee Lady Volunteers, the 5 seed in the region, one of the better offenses in the league in the NCAA. It was a hard-fought game the entire way through, but Texas's defense was able to get them to finish that game strong, able to get them to win. Madison Booker led points for Texas with 17. Taylor Jones, the forward who has been the secret catalyst for Texas, especially in the paint all year, led with 8 rebounds. Now we're going into last Monday's game a couple days ago against the TCU Horned Frogs. This was a wire-to-wire win for the Longhorns, starting with Taylor Jones getting a 2-point shot in the early 2 minutes of the game. Texas did not trail all the way until they won the game by 11, 58-47. That brings them to their new matchup against the South Carolina Gamecocks, as Abby said.
Wow, yeah, I mean, we love to see it. And speaking of, I think Abby kind of already mentioned this, but Coach Schaefer's message about the team, like calling them his world, that was just so sweet. So, yeah, what's up next for the Longhorns in the Final Four and just the rest of this crazy journey?
Yeah, it feels kind of fitting that we're getting to the end of the March Madness tournament, and their final thorn that they're going to have to try to overcome is the team that has been the thorn in their side all year. South Carolina has been the one team that they just really haven't been able to crack. They've played 3 times already in this season, once in South Carolina, once at home at the Moody Center, and then once in the SEC Tournament Championship game. Texas is trailing the season series 2-1, losing in the first game in South Carolina and in the SEC Tournament Championship game. Coming into this game, Texas has learned a couple lessons from these past couple games. They need to start not slow on offense. They need to not give South Carolina a chance to open up a big lead before the half. Their defense needs to keep South Carolina on their toes. The one game that Texas won in the Moody Center, they were able to keep South Carolina's field goal percentage below 30%. That is absolutely crucial in order for them to be able to win this game. Madison Booker needs to have a Booker-esque game, hopefully scoring about 20 points or more, really hoping to lead that offense. Additionally, we have to watch out because South Carolina has a lot of depth. They have a lot of players on the bench who can score a lot of points. Really trying to make sure that South Carolina never gets comfortable on the floor is going to be really, really helpful. Texas has a tendency to start slow and finish strong on defense. They cannot afford to do that against South Carolina.
Alrighty, well, we will see how that matchup unfolds when these 2 powerhouses meet in the Final Four. That's Friday at 6 on ESPN. Thank you for your analysis. We will definitely be watching that game. Looking forward to seeing how that all plays out on such a big stage. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up, spring season is here with summer just around the corner. Our Anish Tiwari is here to discuss what you can be doing to protect your skin from the Texas heat. Stay with us.
And welcome back once again. Summer, it is almost here. Temperatures are starting to rise. It's so humid, like I said, can't stand it. It is starting to be so hot outside, and it's important that you are raising awareness and protecting your skin from the sun.
And to talk more about how to stay safe from the sun, we're joined by Anish. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Living in Austin, I'm sure we all have our fair share of experiences dealing with the scorching Texas sunshine. But do we have any misconceptions about protecting ourselves from the sun? To find out, I'm going to ask you two whether these sun-related statements are facts or myths. Are you guys ready?
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, let's get started. The UV index gives us a forecast of the intensity of the sun. What do you think?
I feel like that's a myth, right? It's like probably something else more scientific.
I'm going to say a fact.
It is, in fact, a fact.
Oh,
Logan, you are correct.
Learning something new every day.
That's right. So yeah, the UV index is a helpful tool for checking the strength of the sun. So whenever you're checking the weather app in the morning, deciding what you're going to wear, you can also check out the UV index. 1 is the weakest and 11 is the strongest, and we've been seeing some 8s and 9s this month. So the intensity of those UV rays really are strong this April. Yeah. Moving on, you don't need to wear sunscreen on a cloudy day. Is this a fact or a myth?
It's a myth. I know that
a myth that I've unfortunately learned much about at many Texas football games.
This one is, in fact, definitely a myth. Clouds do not stop those harmful UV rays, so it is still important to put on sunscreen, and experts recommend 30 SPF at least. Most of them say 50 SPF plus just to get the most of that protection. And then lastly, I have to ask, a tan will protect your skin from the sun. Is that a myth or a fact?
I think it's a myth.
I'm going to say a myth.
Yeah.
It is a myth, and I know we just had spring break. I'm sure you both were getting your tan on.
And failing.
And yeah, it's just important to remember a tan does not protect your skin from sunburns or skin damage. Really does not bring down the risk of things like skin cancer. So really important to keep that in mind and still put on some sunscreen. But it's still important to stay safe outside, but also don't forget to enjoy that great sunshine during this beautiful, beautiful spring.
Yeah, I do not forget the time, it was I think either the first or second game this semester, and I had to come here and do this show and my internship, and literally like my entire forehead was like
oh my gosh, I remember,
burned
like,
off.
Am I peeling?
Like I couldn't go. I felt like I couldn't go outside. So many random things were ordered off of Amazon that actually came in handy again over spring break.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was not one of my favorite moments. So definitely. Especially Texas football games. I think my biggest mistake was I should have just worn a hat. Like I think I should have just that's the easiest solution. But
or a cowboy hat, like especially because they like go out. That's like so easy.
That's right. Protects your shoulders, your face.
Shoulders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is all the time we have for this Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us, Anish. Stay safe outside. I'm Logan Dubel.
And I'm Paulina Pearson. For our Good Morning Longhorns team, we'll see you back here next week. For Campus First News, you can follow us on our Instagram at Good Morning Longhorns and check out our website at tstvnews.com.